man behind me say, "Laettner, you suck." How did you feel about how it went tonight?
You heard that all night?
I heard it, yeah.
I didn't hear that all night. Man, it went great. It went great. I love the idea, and I immediately agreed to come to this event because I just thought it was, you know, over and beyond the V Foundation. I just thought it was a great event to throw for the Kentucky basketball fans. You know, the time and the effort that Jeff Shepard spends and gives back to the Kentucky fans is just remarkable. And then to be involved with him and Rex Chapman, who, you know, when I was a junior in high school, he was, you know, one of the best players in the country. And I went to the same camp that he worked at, and I looked up to him, and I wanted to be a great basketball player just like he was a great basketball player at that time. So to come and do this with Jeff and Rex, and for the Kentucky fans who, you know, there's nothing wrong with booing and yelling and cursing somebody every once in a while. And if I happen to be that person to let them vent, that's perfectly fine. But they should be mad at me, you know, for what I did to their team in 1992, and, you know, kind of, people say cut the hearts out of it. But it wasn't that, it was just everyone was pulling for that team so much back then. They were just getting out of suspension. They were overachievers, you know, only one super megastar in Mashburn. So the average everyday person just fell in love with that team. So to have them go out in the way they did with me hitting that shot, you know, it was hard, and I understand that.
You seem to embrace the boos. Talk about embracing, putting the arms up in the air and embracing the boos.
Well, that's just part of my personality, and I think it was something that made me good on the basketball court, especially in the away arena, is that you have to feed off that a little bit. The way I rationalize through it and the way I trick myself in my own head is that, you know, if they didn't hate you so much, they might love you. So, but, you know, there's a thin line between love and hate, and I think what I want more than anything is just for the basketball fan to say, well, Laettner did good that night against us, or the Kentucky fan. I don't need the Kentucky fan to say I like him or I love him. I just want them to maybe say, well, I respect the game he played against us that night because it was a great game. That's all.
At one point during the action, you wandered down the sideline and were whispering something to Rex. Was that the little scene at the end after the second technical that you guys were working on?
Well, I had to tell him what to do around here, you know, the whole night long. I had to tell Jeff, you know, how to make it funny and enjoyable. No, we were just throwing around ideas the whole night, and we knew we were going to do the, you know, get tossed out of the game thing. But then when somebody slipped on the floor, all the fans started yelling, "Laettner, get on the floor and wipe up their sweat." So that wasn't pre-planned. That was just something on the fly that some of the fans wanted me to do, and I thought it was a really good idea, and they seemed to enjoy it. I don't know if you noticed, but when I got on all fours and started wiping the floor, like everybody stood up and started taking little photos with their camera, and hopefully they're Facebooking it and Twittering it and all that stuff. But you know, that's what it's here for. That's what we're here for, just to have fun, and I think the Kentucky fans had fun tonight, and hopefully they did.
Larry, how hard did you coach tonight?
Oh, if I was Jeff Shepard, I'd have my head. It was terrible. Look, you know, I've had a lot of, I've got a little different perspective, obviously. Nobody, and I mean nobody, hated the guy to my right as a Kentucky basketball fan any more than I did that night that he made that shot of that great game. As a basketball fan and somebody rooting for Kentucky, I can remember where I was. Never forget it. Sitting in the loft of my apartment, I was hurt. I think it was my third or fourth year in the league, and I was back here for a couple of weeks, and he makes that shot, and I mean, it did. It just ripped the heart out of my chest, and I hated him, and that's how Kentucky fans are going to be. But we can sit here and say whatever we want. Christian Laettner was, arguably the greatest college player we've ever seen. I mean, you can make the argument. The career that he had, he's in the top 5 for sure, 10 for sure, top 5 probably. The career that he had, the championships that he won, the teams that he played on, it's something that and I had a good college career, left after a couple years, but it wasn't that career, and that's something that every kid, no matter who you root for, dreams of having when they're young. The other thing I think that's important to keep in mind is I was 19, I think, when I left here, or barely 20 maybe. How old were you when you hit that shot?
21.
21. Kids. We were kids at that point, like Brandon Knight, like DeMarcus Cousins are right now. And, what he did to us killed us. Emotionally, it killed us. For that, and for a lot of us that bleed blue, we'll always remember it. But what he did also was a product of years and years of work, of spending time working on your game when nobody else was working on their game. And he put himself, the preparation he put in, the opportunity that presented itself, he took advantage of it and ripped our hearts out.